So 2 days ago I have uploaded a video about my spiritual journey, and I want to make this video today because I've got 3 very interesting comments and I would like to address them. I would like to talk about them because they got me really excited. If you are watching this video now and you haven't watched my spiritual journey video, please watch that before, because all I'm gonna do in this video is talk about these comments. So the first comment was, "Thank you for sharing your beautiful journey so far. I would love to see more videos on this topic if you feel like sharing. I think the beginning of my spiritual journey also started when I was really young, as I always had super vivid dreams at night where I physically felt like I was there." Actually, I was thinking about that because I can remember having such vivid nights where I felt like I was awake, but I had just this big pressure, but also these great experiences where I was flying and intentionally like deciding where I want to go and what I'm gonna be doing, and everything made sense, and I was so mature in my dream, but I still was a little kid, so I cannot tell if they were dreams or if it was just my thinking before going to bed, but I can totally relate to that. Maybe some of them were astral travels, but I have no way of knowing. I also was curious about reincarnation, the idea of past and future lives. I was talking to my dad about that when I was around 7 or 8. That's so cool. I've always had a fascination with magic as well, fairies and different unreal beings. Then in 2016 is when I started to learn more about these kinds of topics as well. Definitely delve into books and videos and learn more about the universe and our experiences here as multi-dimensional beings. That is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing. That is amazing. I'm so happy to be able to put out my stories and get these kind of messages back. Okay, next comment. "I totally relate to the big thing concept. A few times when I've been half awake, this big feeling of being so small in the entire universe has dawned on me." When I read that, I was like, holy fuck. This is so me. But not like a normal feeling, like I'm almost having an out-of-body experience, realizing how we have no idea what the universe even is and we're somehow floating around. That actually, I had that when I was going to bed so often. I was laid in bed and then it felt like a big rock, like a rock so big you cannot even imagine how big it is, and I am kind of in it, and I'm just one working thing, like in a big ball. And in that big rock there was something happening. I was so small, smaller than an ant, smaller than everything I could have imagined, and I felt so senseless and so accepted at the same time. And this comment reminded me so much of that experience. And I suddenly enter panic mode and I'm like, what is going on? Then a feeling of being brought back into the present moment, those thoughts disappearing. This panic mode, I especially had that in my difficult phase in 2016, but that feeling of when you do not find any escape out of that system, because it's not really a system, but you don't find an escape out of this whole thing. And it's kind of depressing, and at one point I was doubting everything what I saw or experienced, because I couldn't tell if it was real, because I was just so confused. It's weird when I've spoken about it to other people, nobody can relate, but similarly to you, it led me down the spiritual path. Yeah, it's so interesting. Thank you so much for your comment. That's so cool, and I can definitely relate to that, and I'm sure we both aren't the only persons who had these kind of experiences, but we just don't know or just don't talk about it. I feel relieved, and from your resonance, from the comments, I know that you are relieved as well, and I'm so happy about that. So it's really interesting, man. I have always had a feeling that kind of reminds me of what you're explaining. I've always had thought that nobody would understand and I wouldn't be able to explain, actually, but your experiences are really well explained. Thank you so much. And I question myself some of these topics sometimes, and it's good to know others are doing the same. Nice, and thank you so much. Yes, and again, it is so, I feel so relieved to talk about that, because I'm sure we aren't, of course we aren't the only people who have experienced this kind of stuff, but but nobody just talks about it. And it feels so good to read your comments and to be able to talk about that openly and just feel the resonance between us. So thank you so much. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say in this video. Feel free to write down anything you would like down in the comments. You can talk about everything. So feel free to spill your heart out, and thank you for watching.